Jim Murray, you have been the director of BEUC, the European Consumer Organization, for a long time, and you were speaking here at a session about sustainable consumption. You've also listened to other sessions. What are your overall impressions about this European Business Summit?
Well, as it happened, I met yesterday an American diplomat whom I know, and he said to me, "Oh, you must be very pleased, Jim. Here you have a whole huge business conference all devoted to environment, to greening the economy," and he was right. It's of course from BEUC we would wish that more things were done or certain things weren't done, but I think it's significant in itself that in terms of a European agenda that the premier, the European Business Summit should talk about greening the economy, and that pleases me obviously, but also gives me hope for the future, that it's very much a mainstream business preoccupation. That's good. I'm not sure, by the way, if one would see an equivalent one in the States, in America, even though American business have certainly been more progressive than the American administration.
Perhaps after the presidential elections?
Who knows? But certainly in America it seems clear that business have been, as I say, have been taking the lead more than the current administration, at least, in relation to other people also, of course, are taking the lead, but the business has been ahead. But I still, whether we would see such a large conference like this devoted only to greening the economy elsewhere, I don't know. I'm glad to see it here in Europe.
Now, as you step back a little bit, you've been representing European consumers for a long time here in this town, Brussels. Have you seen a shift in policy making towards taking into account more the consumer demands?
I think so. I mean, if we particularly think in relation to environmental issues, there has been a progression among everybody, and business therefore is not immune to that. I mean, people in business are also citizens, parents, children. There has been a move, and business are adapting to that for two reasons: because people who work in business are part of society, and also because there is a change on the part of consumers. It's always going to be, in a sense, almost an interactive thing, in the sense that at one time one element may give the lead, another time it's a range of different things. But I can't. When I joined BEUC in 1990, certainly environment issues were on the table, but nothing like to the same degree as they are now. And as I said about this conference, the mere fact that it is the theme of the European Business Summit is significant in itself. Yes, you can be cynical and say, well, they're jumping on the bandwagon, or they're doing this or doing that, or whatever. But I wouldn't say. Of course, there will be companies, there will be people who will simply exploit the opportunity. But
on this point, yesterday the other NGO, Friends of the Earth, was criticizing some companies for greenwashing via this conference and via all their sustainability reports and so on. How do you stand on that?
Well, on the specifics, of course, I don't know, but yes, there are far too many claims made for sustainability and for green behavior by companies, far too many advertising things which are at best are meaningless and sometimes are downright misleading. A very common thing is to just take one element of a product and to say, to highlight some relatively minor environment improvement in relation to that. So there's a lot of that which goes on, and it's right that whether it's Friends of the Earth or anyone else, it's right that these claims should be questioned. And people say, well, what exactly do you mean by that? Nobody should get a free ride in terms of what they say about their environmental virtues.
But in your own personal impression, as a concluding question, would you say that most corporates are greenwashing, or would you say that they are committed to the actions that they are explaining?
As there is in all promotion and advertising, I think there's almost always an element of exaggeration, but that's not to deny that there is some progress there. New domestic electrical appliances tend to be much more energy efficient than their predecessors, for example. So progress is being made. And I think of my own shopping behaviour, I rarely pay much attention to the environmental claims I see for the product. Because I don't think they are necessarily significant. Now, there are some I might know of, all right, but I wouldn't necessarily accept that this product is, in its overall life cycle and so on, its overall impact, necessarily better than its competitors, merely because it has highlighted one aspect of what it's doing.
Okay, Jean-Marie, thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Christopher.